Good evening. I want to thank Samantha Byrne for coming up and welcoming all of you tonight. She is our board president, and she's really bad at introducing herself, so she missed it. So she is our fearless leader and board president that we are so grateful to have. So I'd like to ask for a round of applause for Samantha Byrne. One thing that truly makes Heartbeat of Toledo special is the people who choose to give of their time and their hearts to this mission. Volunteers are often the quiet strength behind so much of the work that we do, showing up week after week with compassion, encouragement, and a willingness to serve others. And tonight, I'd like to take a moment to recognize one of those individuals who has made a meaningful difference through her unwavering dedication. One of my personal friends, Cindy Hilly, and we're going to watch a short video of her before we call her up, so join me in watching this video.
I first found out about Heartbeat through Stacy LaPointe. We were in a networking group together, and somehow in one of the conversations that came up, I knew nothing about Heartbeat at all. And after we had both left that organization, she had posted something on Facebook about the fashion show. I'm like, oh, sounds interesting. I'll go check it out. And then I meet Gina Benino, and she comes up to me and says, "Hi, you're Cindy, you're Ryan's mom." And I'm like, "Ryan's mom?" And led into, she knows my Ryan and my Lindsay. And from there, she didn't miss a beat. She invited me to lunch and talked more about Heartbeat, and next thing I know, I am touring Heartbeat and finding out about opportunities for volunteering there. I volunteer every week. Every Wednesday I am here for usually 7 hours, and it's sorting the clothes and hanging the clothes and restocking the boutique, and then just when I am able to be out on the floor, helping the clients, helping them find things or pointing things out that they might not have seen. Just the one that really brings me, one of them that brings me great joy is there was a mom out there, and I happened to be out at the time and talking about our car seats, and one of the moms happened to hear me talk about a car seat, and we actually had one, and she goes, "You mean I can get the car seat today?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I don't want any of this other stuff. I need that car seat." Well, I am pretty sure she had 3 little ones and one of them didn't have a car seat. And she was in tears that she was going home with a car seat. And that'll make me cry talking about it. Yeah. My first introduction to Heartbeat was attending their first fashion show. And from there, my passion grew, and I assisted Gina in the second fashion show a little bit. And then the third year, when it came around, they were like, "Okay, can we do this? It's a lot of work." And she asked me if I'd be happy to take it on, and of course I said yes. So it was finding more outfits for the girls and finding the jewelry and purses for them and shoes, so yeah. And just seeing the pure joy that they couldn't believe that they were going to go home with these outfits when it was all done. It was very heartwarming. So well worth it.
So one of the best things about Cindy is her infectious energy and her love for Heartbeat. Since she became involved, she really dove in, and her energy just kind of spread, and before we know it, her husband's putting together furniture for us, her son and her daughter-in-law are donating items to our events, her granddaughter is coming with her to volunteer on days that she's off school. So it's just a testament to Cindy's excitement and passion for Heartbeat. So she's one of our most dedicated volunteers there week after week. So thank you.
Gina.
Did I go over? I have notes, so I don't go over.
We're going to switch.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So this is the surprise. Tonight I have the honor of recognizing someone very special to Heartbeat, and that's our beloved Executive Director, Gina Benino, who, Father Eric, if he ever says Gina Benino, is he here?
No, he'll say it 8 times.
He just loves saying Gina's name. But Gina Benino, this is a surprise. And I know she's just loving this right now. Gina's been with Heartbeat for 10 years, beginning as a patient advocate at Your First Look. I think the date is March 14th, 2016. And since stepping into this role as executive director in 2022, correct? She's been an incredible blessing to our organization. Simply put, she is the perfect person for this role. She gets it, and it shows. Gina is incredibly dedicated, but what stands out most is the humility and kindness she brings with her. Gina is so unbelievably kind. When you walk away from time spent with Gina, you know without a doubt that you are loved and you are valued. I know one of Gina's favorite saints is Saint Teresa of Calcutta, otherwise known as Mother Teresa, who once said, "Spread love everywhere you go, and let no one ever come to you without leaving happier." That's Gina. And another, "It is not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving." This is Gina. She embodies these things so naturally in the way she shows up for others. Heartbeat is what it is today because of Gina's enormous heart and her deep passion for serving women, children, and families. Her heart is truly one of the most beautiful I've known. I'm so thankful for her and her goodness, and for the people along the way who've helped Gina see and step into that goodness and shine. Gina's become one of my dearest friends, which makes it even more meaningful to stand here tonight and honor her. Gina, you've touched so many lives, mine included, and we're incredibly thankful for you, for your dedication and your heart you bring to this mission every single day. So Gina, on behalf of Heartbeat of Toledo, it's my privilege to present you with this service award in recognition of 10 years of beautiful and faithful service. We love you.
Really risky to make me cry before I'm done talking. You guys are so sweet. I do. I love Heartbeat to my core. So thank you. So I will try to get through the rest of this after that, but thank you very much. It's very meaningful. Every day at Heartbeat of Toledo, we have the privilege of walking alongside women, men, and families during some of the most important times of their lives. Whether it's a young woman coming in to Your First Look for an ultrasound, a parent learning practical skills and encouragement through our heart-to-heart programming with parenting classes, or a group of students at DeVoe discovering their worth and their future. Each moment is an opportunity for hope to take root. Currently, Your First Look is seeing over 800 women annually, offering them a safe space to share their hearts and their fears while receiving information and support as they navigate their pregnancy decisions. Our Heart to Heart program serves 152 families every single month. That's 152 parents that are taking classes, learning how to become the best parents they can be, and earning points towards items for their children. This program quite literally feeds, clothes, and restores dignity to 152 children under age 2. And our third program, Catalyst, we're currently present on Fridays through the school year at DeVoe, working with 7th and 8th grade boys and girls. And these children are invited to identify their core values, build their self-worth, cultivate healthy relationships, and practice intentional decision-making. And we are so grateful to be at DeVoe and are seeing such a positive impact with those students. And I would actually like to thank, don't worry, I won't make you come up here, but I'd like to thank the principal of that school, who is here with us tonight, for his leadership and partnership that has allowed us to invest in the lives of these children that he is so dedicated to. So thank you, Mr. Sean Mitchell. And I could truly stand up here all night and rave about all the wonderful things that Heartbeat is doing, but the impact of these programs is best heard through the voices of the people whose lives who have been touched by them. So please stay tuned as we hear now from Samantha Rowe.
I first came to Heartbeat of Toledo for their Your First Look when I first found out I was pregnant, and I couldn't get into the doctor soon enough, so I wanted to confirm pregnancy and everything, and that's what Your First Look did for me. My goal with Your First Look through Heartbeat of Toledo was to basically just confirm pregnancy viability and then just see what my next steps were to take, if I was going to keep my baby, if I was going to explore any other options, or what I really wanted to do going forward. I was a first-time mom. My boyfriend was in legal trouble, and then he was having to go away, so basically I was going to do my entire pregnancy myself and birth by myself. So it's like I wanted to explore the options, see if I really was pregnant, and go from there, really. So I was very emotional at first. Like, I cried when I first found out I was pregnant, and then I was like, this is like the worst timing. I was finishing school, I was almost graduated with my bachelor's, and then Dominic was going away, and just, I was so scared and sad in a way too, because it's like I had to do all those things by myself and everything, but it all ended up working out. My biggest fears were financially, because I went from 2 incomes to 1 income, just me, and then I had to take the maternity leave, so I had to be sure I saved up enough and everything, and leave financial, and then emotional strain too, of like my baby not connecting with his dad, not being able to meet his dad and everything for a while. Being shown like all of the services and things that Heartbeat of Toledo does provide basically kind of took a weight off of my shoulder, because I knew I wasn't alone. I knew I would be supported, Logan would be supported, and anything that we chose, and the help was right there if we needed it. I'm really happy and proud of myself for continuing to go through with my pregnancy, knowing I was supported through Heartbeat. If I needed anything, I could reach out. If I needed even diapers or clothes, I could reach out to Heartbeat, and they would be there in an instant just to help me and provide for my kid if I couldn't. So he was released in 2021, so Logan was about almost 2 years old at the time. And then once he got out, he went through the drug programs just to be sure that he stays clean for his family and is able to be a present dad and partner. I think the catalyst for change was honestly Logan, him seeing Logan and being able to actually integrate with his son and learn his son, even though he wasn't there for like the baby stages. He was there when he started talking and everything, and it's like Logan doesn't even remember him being gone. All he knows is his dad's always been there, and that's just all I could ask for from his dad too, is his dad always shows up.
Sorry, I'm not really good at this, but I just want to thank everyone in this room and everything, because honestly, I couldn't have done it without each and every one of the support in this room. Like, I was scared. I was being a first-time mom, trying to get through college and everything. I did graduate with my bachelor's in 2020. one, and now I'm on track to graduate with my master's in nursing in 2027. And it's just amazing what Heartbeat does, all the resources that they can give for all of us, and like new time moms, new families, and just like be a good community resources for young families just figuring it out for the first time. Thank you.
Before we move on, I want to acknowledge the incredible courage that it takes to share a story like this. To invite hundreds of people into intimate moments of your life, it requires a vulnerability. And not just from Samantha, but from Dominic too. Who's here tonight. We won't call you on stage, but for Dominic to be able to share his story, he allowed his own journey to be a part of what was being heard tonight. His willingness to confront, things in his life and healing and step into a role of a present and loving father is really something truly profound. So it's a really big accomplishment, Dominic. So I think you deserve a round of applause as well. Their story is a reminder that redemption and transformation are possible, and that families can grow stronger even through difficult seasons. And it's during those seasons that Heartbeat is there for. We meet people right in that moment, not expecting them to have it all figured out, but to offer support, encouragement, and resources so they can just take that next step forward. And over time, those small next steps build something bigger. It builds stability and confidence and hope for the future. And what's so beautiful is that oftentimes those small steps lead to stories just like what you just heard from Samantha. When Sam walked through our doors, she had no way of knowing how beautifully her story would unfold. Your family is so beautiful and so loving, and it's so inspiring. But she didn't know any of that when she came to us. But in that moment of uncertainty, she found just enough hope to keep going, even when so much of her future was unknown. And we see that moment often when the weight someone has been carrying begins to lift just enough for hope to find its way in. Through programs like Your First Look, Heart to Heart, and Catalyst, we are able to meet people in moments of uncertainty, offering support, guidance, and encouragement when it matters most. But what we've also come to understand is that encouragement and education, while so important, can only go so far if someone doesn't have a safe and stable place to live. And that is why we are working towards something more. Because the women we see come through our doors, the ones that are questioning their ability to parent, they're not lacking in love for their child, they're lacking stability. So I'd like to invite up our board member and Maternity Home Committee Chair, Joe Restivo, to share more about this beautiful new addition to Heartbeat's programs. Joe.
Thank you, Gina. We're very fortunate to have your leadership, and we're grateful for everything you do to carry this mission forward. Good evening, everyone. For those I haven't met, my name is Joe Restivo, and I've had the privilege of serving on the Heartbeat of Toledo board for the past several years. Over the past year, I've been working with a small team on a new initiative we're calling the Heartbeat House. At last year's banquet, we introduced this idea for the first time, not as a finished plan, but as a question. Could Heartbeat support women further by offering not just services, but also a stable place to live during pregnancy and after the baby arrives? Since then, we've been taking that question seriously. We've spent the past year working through what it would actually take to make something like this work, looking at zoning, safety, staffing, budgeting, and long-term sustainability. We've learned from organizations like St. Raymond Society in Missouri, which shared its operations at last year's banquet. They have provided us with resources, guided our thinking, and helped us avoid a lot of mistakes. What's come out of that process is a very clear model. The Heartbeat House is designed as a small residential home serving up to 3 mothers and their infants at a time. Each mother would have her own living space but be part of a structured home environment that provides stability, accountability, and daily support. At the center of that support is a full-time life coach, someone who is present every day, working directly with each resident. The life coach helps each mother set goals, build routines, access health care, pursue employment or education, and develop a plan for stable housing after leaving the program. Because through Heartbeat's work over many years, we've seen something very clearly. One of the biggest pressures women face during pregnancy is not the pregnancy itself, it's housing. We've worked with women who didn't know where they were going to sleep the night their baby was being born. We've worked with women living in unsafe situations, unstable environments, or moving from place to place. For many, that uncertainty shapes their decisions, not because they don't care about their child, but because they simply do not see a path forward. The Heartbeat House is about changing that reality. By providing a safe, stable place to live, we've removed one of the most immediate and overwhelming pressures. And when that pressure is removed, everything else becomes possible. A mother can recover after childbirth. She can bond with her baby. She can care consistently. She can build routines and begin planning for what's next. When stability is paired with daily support, guidance, and accountability, it fosters genuine, lasting change for both the mother and her child. That's what this program is designed to do. Not just provide housing, but provide a structured environment that helps women move from instability to independence. As we move forward, our focus is on continuing to build the right partnerships, secure the right resources, and take the next steps towards opening a home here in the Toledo community. If this resonates with you, I'd be glad to connect later, or you can visit our website to learn more information on how you can get involved. But for now, we want to share what this looks like in real life. And it's fitting to do that tonight on the Feast of St. Joseph, the patron saint of fathers. St. Joseph is often remembered for his quiet strength, showing up, providing, protecting, and doing what was needed for his family. In many ways, that's what we see in the people we serve every day. Earlier, we heard from a mom that we have worked with, and now we want to introduce you to a dad. Brandon is a first-time father of twins who has been participating in our parenting classes and working hard to build a stable future for his family. Let's take a moment to hear his story.
It was personally important for me to take parenting classes through Heartbeat just because I didn't really necessarily have a great father figure. He was there, but it was more surface level, where I wanted to try to do something deeper to create a larger connection with my kids growing up, especially from the start, where I know those memories are critical and will be with them for life. So, as a parent, that has changed me. I have 2 boys that do want to cry a lot, and that's okay, because I know that whatever is making them cry is something that means a lot to them, and it's not what's wrong, it's like what is making you cry, so that way I can understand it. It's more of like, how can I investigate this? How can I delve into this? How can I become part of why something is hurting you to make you want to cry? Finding a program like Heartbeat was perfect for me because it brings all this great information to one spot, to where I can go once monthly and not have to do all that sifting and sorting myself necessarily. I can still do that on my own time, but I'm getting a large chunk of it all brought in a great little time managed period. On top of that, I get to meet someone wonderful like Sue, so I have a personal connection, as well as anyone else that's a part of the program, which is great for other parents essentially, or grandparents, who I can get other information and resources from their personal experience of raising kids. So although A lot of people can say, I work a lot, it's tough, it's challenging. Things in life that you really want to make an impact on and you want to grow in, you'll find you'll make that time, or you'll find a resource or an area to where the little bit of time you do have, you can make that work. And that's what I think Heartbeat is. Throughout my life, I've lived in 11 different places, so I know what it's like having multiple houses living in as a kid, or living in an apartment with my mom when my dad split, going to 2 different places. You know, I know that a big thing for that is always minimizing stress, and that'll help the parents' relationship stay strong. So I want to try to get a good house and have a good foundation through that. Heartbeat's been able to financially help me lower the cost of these monthly items, as well as bring me great education in a timely fashion since I work so much, and that has greatly helped me. To all the donors, I would say I personally appreciate it. I know my 2 boys, for every single month I've gone, have appreciated it, both in the warm clothes, the comfy clothes, the Spider-Mans, all the diapers. I know they've appreciated it and how I've approached them with more patience, more love, and more deliberate movements instead of just trying to fumble through being a first-time parent of twins. My wife will always be thankful because of the fact that I've stepped up so much, especially not having great examples from my father. And we will all as a family continue to always be very thankful.
Hi everyone, like the video said, my name is Brandon. This is my wife, Nicole. Just wanted to, I wanted to say thank you, obviously, to anyone that is a donor, a sponsor, anyone that comes and just helps, a volunteer. Heartbeat has drastically helped me to be a more solid father, patient, someone that listens better and can deal with emotions. So I'm very thankful. I will always be thankful. My twin boys are very thankful, and just wanted to let everyone know that it does mean something. It does change everyone who is a part of this in their day-to-day. And thank you very much.
All right, Brandon, thank you for sharing your story. Your commitment to your family is inspiring, and we're wishing you guys all the best. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit here. Our comedian tonight has performed across North America. He's appeared on multiple television networks, and his dry bar comedy special has millions of views. He's also the founder of Stand Up for Adoption, a comedy benefit series supporting families adopting children with special needs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome to the stage Mr. Sean Reynolds.
Thank you so much. Keep it going for the Heartbeat team for putting this event on. The Hilton staff, they've done a great job, haven't they? I heard the chocolate cake was 10 out of 10. Is that correct? All right, awesome. How's everybody doing tonight? We doing good? Excellent, excellent. I like this. Is you guys? This is a blessing to me to be here. Anytime I get to partner with such an incredible organization and get to perform for amazing people, I love it. I love looking out. You guys are some good-looking people. I see like amazing, happily, strong, married couples. I like that. It's like the opposite of a Coldplay concert, and I like that. I like that. When I started doing comedy many years ago, let me tell you that people started saying some discouraging things to me. Some of you have experienced this, right? You tell people your hopes and your dreams and your big ideas, and they'll shoot them down, won't they? I had people saying things to me like, well, it's a tough thing to do, Sean. It's a tough industry to break into. You got to be real funny. I had people say mean, rude things to me, like, you'll never make it to the bright lights and big stages of Perrysburg, Ohio, performing in hotel banquet halls where the opener is steak or chicken. Well, I showed them. Take that, Mom and Dad. Then several years ago, when I quit my day job to do comedy full time, that's when the haters and doubters really came out. I had people up in my face. They're like, you're doing what? That sounds financially irresponsible. Can you provide for your family just doing comedy? Are you even that funny? And I was like, first of all, that is no way to speak to your father. And second of all, Daddy already quit his job. So you're going to want to get on board. We don't have insurance now. So, but no, this is great. I'm thrilled to be here, not at home. I'm in the doghouse right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to get out of the doghouse. I'm in the doghouse. We were at this dinner party recently, and there was 4 other married couples there, and we're all around the table having the one conversation. And this lady was bragging on her husband. She's like, Tim has been doing so much. I've just been down in the dumps, and he's been stepping up and doing laundry and cooking and cleaning, which is bad enough for us husbands having to listen to that. But then Tim jumps in and doubles down. He's like, yeah, I'm happy to do it. Because I know that her love language is acts of service. And we're like, hey, ixnay on the love languages. Sure enough, another wife, she jumps in. She goes, oh, Matt here, he doesn't even know what my love language is. He doesn't even know that there's love languages. And we're all laughing and making fun of Matt, right? And then my wife pipes up, and she goes, well, Sean here, he definitely knows my love language. And I'm like, you're darn right about that, because you're my favorite, you know? What about Matt? What an idiot, right? How about, she's like, no, tell him what my love language is, tell him. And I was like, being right? And that's not one of them. That's not one of them. I do try to be a good husband, though. I'm always trying to get better, trying to improve myself. I've gone back. I didn't watch it when it was on television, but I've gone back and I'm starting to watch it. It's this old show. Some of you will remember it. It's called Sister Wives. Anybody remember Sister Wives? If you don't know about Sister Wives, it was a reality show about this Mormon husband, and he had 5 wives. And so I'm watching this thing, episode 1. I'm working my way through, and I'm not watching it for entertainment. I'm watching it for research. I'm like, how is this guy managing 5 wives? I'm pausing it. I'm taking notes. How is he doing this? And let me be clear, I'm not trying to add a second wife to my life. I got the one wife, that's plenty. But right now, she's going through something that she said is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, but it's medically known as perimenopause. And there are 5 of her now. And I'm scared of 3 of them. And I'm pretty sure one of them doesn't know my name. Because that one calls me pretty boy. But not like fun and cutesy and sweet. She does it with a lot of attitude. She's like, hey, pretty boy, why don't you go fill up my empty water bottle? Make yourself useful. I'm like, does that one have an accent? The other day I was apologizing to her. I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry about what happened yesterday. I feel so terrible about that. She goes, sweetie, what are you apologizing for? And I was like, sorry, wrong wife. You know, I don't know. I'll watch more Sister Wives, I guess. Take more notes. Do try to be a good husband. My wife's always trying to give me things to work on. I appreciate that. I should have actually told you this right when I came out here, because she said, this is what you need to be working on. She told me I need to work on my confidence. She's like, you're always making fun of yourself. You need to work on your confidence. So that's what I've been doing. And so I should have told you right when I came out here that I'm proud to tell you that I'm also a trophy husband. Pretty proud of that. Thank you for laughing, ma'am. That's not the joke. Anybody applaud if you're here tonight and you have a trophy husband. Applaud if you have a trophy husband. You're not supposed to laugh while you do it, ma'am. She's like, I guess. Sorry that happened to you, sir. I pointed it out to my wife. I'm like, you snagged yourself a trophy husband, didn't you? She was like, oh, I sure did, big boy. Woo! Just didn't realize I was competing in one of them leagues where everybody gets a trophy. we have a great marriage. I think it's because we spent a lot of time while we were dating and engaged. We spent a lot of time planning our marriage, right? We had like the tough conversations. We met with the priest, did all the classes. I think this is the mistake a lot of young couples make today. The trap they fall into is once they get engaged, they spend all their time planning what? The wedding, right? It's all about the DJ and the centerpieces and the tuxes. And us married people know it's like, why don't you pump the brakes there, party princess? And maybe find out what temperature the two of you would like the thermostat at first. Yeah, you get that information, the DJ might not be necessary. Hope you remember your Christian Mingle password. Because it's rough in the streets, right? 1 minute you're up doing midnight feedings with the babies, right? 20, 30 years go by, you wake up spooning with someone strapped to a CPAP machine. That hit a little close to home, right back there. Because she's laughing and he's wheezing. That's how you can. I do try to be a good husband, though. I struggle. Here's what I struggle with. I struggle with the tough questions you ladies throw at us. You throw some tough questions. They're loaded questions. They're questions where you wanted to hear something very specific in return. But the problem is that you did not tell us that. Here's my least favorite question that my wife will lob out at me. What are you thinking about right now? Ooh. Guys, we cannot hesitate on that question. You ladies assume the worst. What are you thinking about right now? Right? The alarms are going. Oh, you're thinking about our waitress, aren't you, you pig? I seen how you looked at her and you talked to her. Yeah, I was ordering. Yeah, I bet you'd like to order some of that, you sick circus freak. For crying out loud, we are at a Waffle House. And it is our anniversary. It's a double-edged sword, though. Not only do we have to have the answer ready to go, but it has to be the right answer, because I figured you ladies out when you ask these things and these questions. It's not random. It's because you're having a moment and you're internalizing, and we're just not aware of that. Maybe you're on a date and you're sitting across from you at a restaurant. Well, you're looking at us. You're peering deep into our souls, having sweet, sweet thoughts that we're not aware of. You're just like, oh, look at him. I just love him so much. All those big muscles. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I bet he's thinking the same thing about me right now. Let's go ahead and find out. Hey, honey, what are you thinking about right now? I'm thinking if I don't get a quarterback, my fantasy football team's not going to win another game. I figured it out. You know that Westminster dog show they have where they bring the dogs out and they trot them around, they grade them on obedience. And if they had one of those for husbands, I'm just saying I like my chances. My wife would trot me out there and I would go to work. Have you lost weight? I think we should just cuddle tonight. No, I don't think we have too many toss pillows on our bed. And the judge would come by. Does he put the toilet seat down when he's done peeing? I pee sitting down. Best in show. My goodness, man. Take it from me, I've been married for 25 years and my wife still likes me. That means I am functioning and operating at an expert husband level. When my wife looks at me, what are you thinking about right now? Oh, our wedding day. I just love you so much. Yeah, I do struggle. I'm not like a tough, manly guy. Not sure if you're picking up on that or not. Okay, over here again. She's like, yeah, we are. I have this huge extended family. They live in southeast Kentucky, in the mountain region, Pineville, Kentucky. And I have all these uncles and cousins, and they are cool, tough guys. I don't fit in with them at all. They know all about trucks and all the different truck parts, like Hemis and other truck parts. They're still mad at me down there about something that happened 12 years ago. Every time I go down there, they still bring it up. 12 years ago, we had a family reunion. My mom's family is the Green family. They do a family reunion all the time, every couple of years. But 12 years ago, they did something that some of you have done before. They did the t-shirt family reunion. Have you done this before, where somebody makes the t-shirt and everybody's got to pay $8 and you all show up wearing these shirts, right? Because nothing says family like mailing $8 to an aunt with a laptop. And so they decided to do this. And usually these shirts, what? They say your family name on the front, right? The date of the reunion, the location. Maybe you pop a Bible verse on the back of that shirt, right? Well, my mom and my aunt were the ones put in charge of these shirts. They volunteered. I think they thought they were the only ones that knew about Canva. And they're at the table working on these shirts. I'm watching the game with my dad. I go in the kitchen to get something out of the fridge, and I hear them working on these shirts. And my mom is saying things like, I want to put something fun on these shirts. I don't want to put Green Family Reunion. I want to put something fun like Green Machine or the Green Gang. And then I said, as a joke, you know what you should put on those shirts, Mom, is gangrene. You know, like the medical emergency. And they laughed, and I laughed, and then I left the room, and then they ordered 150 shirts that said nothing but gang green on them. That's the whole shirt. Nothing on the back. I made a joke, and they were like, well, that settles that. We know a good idea when we hear one. No follow-up questions, just gangrene? Yeah, we'll take 150 of that. Meeting adjourned. You gotta be careful in my family. You make a joke, that ends up being the plan. So it turns out my mom didn't get the joke, didn't get the pun, right? So she showed up at the reunion and everybody started explaining it to her, and she got embarrassed and started panicking and threw me under the bus. Starts telling everybody, like she started acting like she wasn't even in the room when they made these shirts. Like I was the head of the t-shirt committee and she was as surprised as everybody else. She starts distancing herself from me. I'm her son. She's like, I don't know him that well. We're really not that close. We don't run in the same circles. Other family members showed up. They didn't get the joke either. They were still mad at me nonetheless. They're like, hey, buddy, we don't appreciate the implication that we're in a gang. They're like, we're good church-going people. What kind of gang activity are we going to stir up anyway? Doing drive-bys, just chucking biscuits out of Jerry's F-150? So that was that. I'll tell you this, the following week in that little town, the people that walked into that Goodwill discovered that that Goodwill now had a gang green section. Just 2 full racks of my mom's new clothing line. And that's a small town down there, so word spread, and that's caused a second wave of embarrassment for my family that they had created a gang green section down at the Goodwill. And let me tell you, you don't want to be associated with your family spreading anything around town, especially not gang green. So, yeah, so every time I go down there, they still bring it up. They're just furious at me. Every time they go down there, they're like, buddy, we had to pay $8 for them shirts that we could wear for 2 hours and never again, you idiot. So what I did was I actually bought them all back. And so after the show, I'll be out in the parking lot selling them for $8 if you want a gang green shirt. So. Well, you guys have been a ton of fun. I'm going to tell you guys one more story, and I'll get out of here. This last story I'm going to tell you, I need you to know it's a true story. And I'm not going to change anything in it to make it seem more incredible than what it really is. And I think the story is just such a great example of how we love to plan out our lives, right? We got it all figured out. We got our 1-year plan and our 5-year plan, our 10-year plan. We got our short-term goals, long-term goals. We're writing it down because we're so smart with our big brains. And then God will come along and be like, yeah, we're not going to be doing any of that. And if you've ever experienced that, you know it can be a little intimidating and overwhelming and scary, but we also know that the plans that he has for us are very, very good. And so 13 years ago, my wife came home from work. She worked at a daycare at the time. She came home from work and she goes, we need to talk. Now, as a veteran of the husband community, I know that we need to talk has never been followed by anything good. We need to talk has never been followed by, you need to be watching more football. It's never that. She begins telling me about this little boy at her daycare, and she talked about him before. His name was Keegan. He was 3 years old. I had never met him, but she talked about him before. She was worried about him. He was kind of getting passed around a little bit, and his mom, who had no support at all. She was a single teen mom, and she was into drugs, and once again, no support in her life. She could have really used an organization like Heartbeat. And on this particular day, she walked in to the daycare and tells my wife that she's violated her parole and she has decided to relinquish her parental rights of Keegan and put him into foster care. And then my wife just stopped talking. And I was like, yeah? And she goes, well. She goes, I think we should adopt him. Now, I wish this wasn't true, but an alarm of no's just went off in my head. And I wish that wasn't true, but it was. It was just no. At the time, we were paycheck to paycheck. At the time, we already had 4 kids. At the time, we didn't have like an extra room or a bed. It just wasn't our plan. I was just no. But surprisingly, none of that came out of my mouth. What came out of my mouth was, I can tell this is important to you. Why don't we get the kids settled for dinner, and we'll go out to eat, and you can tell me what's on your heart. And I know some of you are sitting there right now going, well, that was the Holy Spirit working right there. But it wasn't. I told you this is a true story, and the truth is I love to eat out. And I thought this was a perfect excuse to go eat out, and I wanted a public place to tell her no. The Lord's been doing a lot of work on me the last 13 years. So we get the kids settled for dinner, we get in the car, and I live in Lexington, Kentucky. If you've ever been to Lexington, you may know we have more restaurants per capita than any city in America. There's just 1 billion restaurants, they're always packed. Apparently nobody in Lexington can cook. So we get in the car, and she let me pick. And so I picked Johnny Carino's. Now, do y'all have Johnny Carino's here? No. Do you have Olive Garden? Similar. Johnny Carino's is a smaller chain Italian restaurant, but at Johnny Carino's, they bring out this bread, and let me tell you about this bread, it's unbelievable. Here's what I do at Johnny Carino's, and I should be embarrassed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyways. This is the only restaurant I do this at, is I go to Johnny Carino's, and they bring out that bread, and I eat all the bread. And then they go, do you want more bread? And I say yes. And I eat all that bread. And then when I know I can eat no more bread, and they say, do you want more bread? I say yes, so I can take it home and eat it later. And I know I shouldn't do that, but I do it every time. I'm never not going to do it. I love that bread. So we get to Johnny Carino's. It's packed, of course. We get seated in the middle of the restaurant. Our server comes up. She's very bubbly. Hi, my name's Shannon. I'll be taking care of you today. Let me get your drink started. And then she goes, do you want me to bring you out any bread? And in my head, I'm thinking, Shannon, you need to open with the bread. Are people telling you no? Are they saying no? If they are, bring us their bread also. But I didn't say any of that. We were very friendly. We gave her our drink orders, and I was like, yeah, I guess we'll try the bread, Buckle up, Shannon. So she leaves, and now my wife is sitting across from me, and she's been really silent like the whole night. And I'll never forget it. She was sitting across from me, and she was twirling her spoon, and she was probably in deep thought, maybe deep prayer, I don't know. But I can tell you right now, there was nothing she could have said that would have made me believe that this was the right path for our family. And she's just twirling the spoon, and right before she begins to speak, she whips around and looks behind her, and she looks back at me, and she turns white as a sheet. It looked like she had just seen a ghost. And she turns around again, and she looks back at me again, and now she has tears in her eyes. And I'm like, what is the matter? And she goes, Sean. She goes, do you see that older couple sitting behind us? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, Sean, do you see the little boy at the table with them? I'm like, yeah. She goes, Sean, that's Keegan. I kid you not, at the exact time, at the exact place, and at the exact location inside that place that we chose to sit down and talk about this little boy and how he may or may not fit into our plans, I kid you not, he was sitting 5 feet behind us. And now my wife is bawling at the table, and she's like, say something. She goes, what is happening right now? Say something. And so I reached across the table, and I grabbed that hand that was twirling that spoon, and I squeezed it tight, and I told her, I said, I believe what's happening right now is that Shannon has forgot about our bread. I mean, is she back there making it from scratch? Apparently, it's going to take a second miracle in this restaurant tonight to get some bread to this table. My wife and I, we ate that meal in complete silence. Everybody around us for sure thought we were fighting. And we did not discuss adopting Keegan, mostly because he was sitting 5 feet behind us. but also because sometimes God comes into your life and he reveals the plans that he has for you, and the plans are very, very good. And so we just left the restaurant that night with two very important things. One, we left with a bag of that bread. And two, we left knowing that somehow, some way, God had a plan for us, and we were going to have a fifth child, and we did adopt him 9 months later. But in the middle of the meal, I actually leaned over, and I snapped a quick picture of him, and I slid my phone over to my wife, and I go, check it out, it's the ultrasound picture. Surprise, we're having a boy. Hey, I'm Sean Reynolds. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you. I'm so thrilled I get to introduce our last video. Before I do, I just want to say it is truly a blessing for me to be here tonight. I get to partner with organizations all over the country. I'm going to tell you what, I've done the tour at Heartbeat now twice, and there is just something different about Heartbeat. I promise you that. I'm not pandering to you. I don't say that on every stage that I go to across the country. This is a different kind of center. And it is just incredible work that they're doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, y'all are an amazing 1-2 punch. Heartbeat and you all as the supporters and donors, because they are an amazing, beautiful engine, but you all, in nights like tonight, you are the fuel for that engine. And I'm blown away by the things I see. I hear Gina, when we walk through the center, everything during the tour, every detail matters to them. They think about everything, every little detail they think about. They're even now getting into the schools, talking to younger kids, helping prepare them. So now they're not even being reactive, they're now being proactive in your community. And it is just so amazing, and the work that's happening here, it's amazing. You guys get to see it firsthand. It's happening here in your community, and that's so exciting. And this last video, I think it really shows this, and I want you to pay close attention, because you all show up in this video. It's not just Heartbeat, but it's also the supporters. You all are a part of this video, and you are part of these mothers' story. And even though you may not be in the room and you may not be in the building with Gina, when these people walk through the door, these mothers and the fathers and these unborn babies, you might not be in the room, but you are in the room in spirit. You are there, and you are making an impact. And so this last couple here, it's so moving. They walked through the doors at Heartbeat during Christmas. They were broken, they were scared, they were on the brink of homelessness, and they walked out those doors with hope and a plan and a vision for their future and for their baby's future. So enjoy.
I found out I was pregnant like the first week of November. Like it was like November 8th. I took a test with my best friend. She like rushed over, and immediately it popped up positive, so that was exciting, but I was like still in doubt, so I took another one, and then I took one more just to be sure, and then I let him know because I didn't want to like be like, hey, I'm pregnant, and then like I'd be wrong. And I made my first appointment with Heartbeat of Toledo, and it was just very helpful, and I felt very welcomed and comfortable. When I got to do my first ultrasound with Your First Look, it was amazing because this is my first pregnancy, so I've never experienced anything like this before, and it just took a lot of stress and like anxiety away because I was so worried about being turned away or being looked at because I came to my first appointment alone and stuff like that, but it was the total opposite. I was totally comfortable, and I felt all the genuine support and love from you guys.
It was nothing but like comfortable here, you know what I mean? So when I got to be a part of the ultrasound, it was pretty awesome.
It was just so surreal to actually go like experience it myself. Like to know that I'm carrying a baby, and I got to hear the heartbeat and everything. And we've had it hanging on our wall since we brought it home. Like it's just been on display for everyone to see because we're so excited and proud.
So being in the situation we were in, we kind of were in a rough patch. So when I came with her, I didn't know like how I was gonna be looked at, but everybody was really nice. I was accepted, you know, none of the past mattered. It was all about what's going on now and the baby that's growing inside of her. So I felt, as a father, I felt really welcomed. And that was nice to, you know, as my first child, it was nice to experience. we're only in the position we're in right now because of the donors from the Heartbeat of Toledo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Around Christmas time, they donated her a lot of stuff, and we were in the process of getting evicted. So that was the only reason that we got to move forward and get into a new place and continue being warm and safe in bed. So that's due to the donors of Heartbeat Toledo, and I mean, we're extremely thankful.
Yes, and all the stuff that we got to, it like literally took a weight off of our shoulders because we were like, how the heck? Like we
Some
made
of the stuff I didn't even know we were gonna need to get.
Yeah, like my friend was telling me like, you're gonna need this stuff, and then we came here and we were literally blessed. So we're so grateful for Heartbeat of Toledo. We really are.
Really are.
After us dealing with the eviction and going to court and finding a place to live, thanks to the help of Heartbeat of Toledo, we are finally good. Like, we're doing really good now.
We're getting in a position where we can start to grow,
Yeah.
not just survive.
Yeah. And we don't have to worry about.
There was a week there where we honestly didn't know what was going to happen with everything, and that was Christmas week, and we got a phone call Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Yeah, we came like the 23rd or the 24th, we came here.
And we walked out with money that we did not expect to get, and we were able to go sign a lease that same day.
Yeah, we were literally able to go get the keys to where we live now.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have to worry about being out in the cold with our animals.
Giving the animals away so they were warm.
Yeah, because that was a big thing. And I love my animals so much. I was like, no, they'll just be in the car with us. It's fine. But that wasn't practical. But we didn't even have to do that. And we're just very grateful because we went through a lot. We had a really hard couple months, but we made it. And we're very grateful for you guys, for your first look, Heartbeat of Toledo, everybody. Thank you guys so much.
It's just good to know that there's always somewhere you can go to talk or feel accepted.
Yeah.
And I can see every time she gets a text or a call or she talks to anybody from here, she's just full of life. She loves it. She's in a happier mood afterwards.
That makes my day. I'm not gonna lie, it really does make my day. Like, you guys check on me so much, and it's just beautiful. Like, to know that there's something like this and to actually be welcomed. And I don't think we would be exactly where we are right now.
A lot of things would have changed. We probably would not have a vehicle. We would have most likely had to relocate to Bowling Green and live with a friend. So the job, the car, everything would have been gone.
The animals would have had to be given away.
So when I say that the donation that we got from the first look was life-changing, that's not an understatement.
Yeah.
We would not be anywhere near where we're at right now, and this is an amazing start.
Absolutely. It gave us a roof over our heads and hope.
Mm-hmm.
It really gave us hope.
Give it up one more time for Christian Veronica.
We just really want to thank everyone because we've been through a lot, and it was just very nice to have the support of Heartbeat of Toledo because we didn't have that same support from my own family. So it was nice to know that there's like a lot of strangers that care about us and our baby. And we've just been blessed to have met everyone at Heartbeat of Toledo, and we've been blessed to be here tonight with all of you. So thank you guys so much for having us and for being here. And yeah, thank you to the donors, to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, Samantha, Brandon, Christian, Veronica, thank you so much. It takes a lot of vulnerability to get up here and share your story. And I had remarks to share. If we haven't met, my name is Andy. It says Andrew. I go by Andy. Don't call me Andrew. Andy Rechtenwald. I happen to be the vice president of the board here, and I had some remarks prepared, but then Sean, that funny guy, where's he at? I can't see. Oh, he's in the back. That was great. But I'm changing what I want to say because his story and mine are very similar. Up until a few years ago, I had 3 kids. We only planned on really having 2 after our second because my wife got pretty sick. And then we had our third. Tried really hard for him, which was a lot of fun. But then we were done with having babies, not the other stuff, but we were done with having babies, and then one day I got done with work. I happened to work at Cedar Creek Church. I'm one of the pastors there, and I went over to my aunt's for my cousin's graduation party, and I walked in the house, and my other aunt walked up, and she beelined it for me. And she said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something serious. I've already talked to Kayla, my wife." And I said, "Okay, great. What did she say?" She goes, "About what?" I'm like, "About the serious conversation." She goes, "You're going to need a drink." And I said, "Okay." So I went and got a bourbon. I sat down, and I didn't feel like the conversation was that serious at all. She told me that my cousin found out she was pregnant and that she wasn't sure what she was going to do. She didn't think she could keep the baby. She found out much later in her pregnancy than what typically women would find out. And so I said, "Well, we'll do whatever. We'll do whatever we can to help. I mean, this is what we do at Heartbeat. Like, we'll do whatever we can. We'll give money to her. We'll buy diapers, formula, whatever it takes." And she goes, "Whatever you can." I was like, "Yeah, sure." I didn't realize at the time that my wife had already said we would adopt this little one. Had no clue. So my aunt was like, "Great, you're on the same page. Thank you." I left that night talking to my wife, and she told me, like, "No, I told her we would take him." And I was like, woof. 3's a lot. 3's a crowd. And for a week, I prayed about it. And I couldn't come to the conclusion that I was supposed to take this little one on. I just couldn't do it. I mean, you just think about the fact that you go from 3 to 4, but then also you're raising your cousin's kid. Just the complexity there and just, how difficult that would be. And so one day I'm leaving work again, and I call Kayla, and I'm telling her I have been praying about it, but I was driving actually over the overpass over the Maumee River, and I just said, I don't know that I'm there. I don't know that I can do it. And it felt super selfish, but I was also being honest. And she said, "I understand that. I get why you would say that, but I don't think that we have a choice. I think God is making it abundantly clear." We weren't sitting in a restaurant with good bread. "I think God is making it abundantly clear that this is what he wants us to do. Who knows where this little one would end up if we don't do what I think he wants us to do?" And that's all I needed to hear at the moment. So we said yes. So now we have 4 children. The adoption was finalized a couple years ago. And I'm not a tall man. I'm not a tall person at all. I stand 5'5", which, by the way, was probably the height of Jesus, so I'll take that. And this kid, all my kids are short. This kid's slated to be a giant. He's a huge guy. And he's already taller than his older brother. When he's 6, he's going to look down on me and say, like, "What are you going to do about it, Dad?" I never thought that would be what I would do. I never thought that would be the path, the journey that God would have us on. And now my cousin, she comes over with my aunt, and she spends time with her biological son, who is not her son, but who is her biological son. And she spends time with him. She spends time with all the kids. And sometimes you don't know what you're saying yes to. All of you, though, should have known you were coming to a fundraiser, by the way. Some of you that come every year know that when I come up, I'm here to ask for money. And so if you're thinking, this is my cue to leave, which one of you said that earlier, I just want you to look in the back. The doors are all shut. I'm kidding. As I was praying about this night and what God would want me to say, the phrase cheerful giver came up, just kind of popped up. Holy Spirit gave that to me. And God tells us through the Apostle Paul in his letter to the Corinthians that God loves a cheerful giver. He loves a cheerful giver. So if you sat here tonight and you listened to all the stories, the 4 stories we got to hear, 3 stories that we got to hear from 4 individuals, and then if you look at your little program, that there's hundreds of others whose lives have been absolutely radically changed by the generosity at Heartbeat of Toledo, and you're wondering, how can I help? Well, we're not necessarily asking you to adopt, though I think you should get involved in that as well. But I do think there's a way for you to make a difference tonight. Some of you tonight are here for the first time. Some of my own table, are here for the very first time, and maybe God is prompting you tonight to give for the very first time. Whatever you can give. And maybe tonight you've been giving, you'll give when you come to these things, or you go to the Dine and Dash or whatever, and you'll give a little bit of money, it's infrequent. Maybe God today is saying, hey, I want you to schedule your giving. I want you to plan it out ahead of time. Maybe for some of you, you've been giving regularly, but God's asking you to up it tonight because you see what your giving is doing. All of these are ways to be a cheerful giver. Now, some of you are sitting here and you're like, I don't feel that cheerful about giving. That's okay. The bar is still open. There's multiple spots where you can go get more cheerful. But ultimately, the reason why we give, my wife and I give to Heartbeat, the reason why I continue to serve, the reason why we continue to show up is because we believe in the mission. And so, if you saw what you saw tonight and you thought not worth it, I'd love to have a conversation with you afterward. But if you saw what you saw tonight and you said, man, I've got to help, I've got to get involved, I've got to do more, then maybe it's just you up a little bit. You give for the first time. Maybe you're like, I have so much extra money sitting around, I'd love to buy a house. Well, you heard earlier, we're trying to buy a house. So go find the people you need to talk to give and give generously and be a part of what Heartbeat is doing. Everybody at your tables, you have someone that has a giving slip for each of you. If you are a person who's giving for the first time, it's pretty self-explanatory. I would encourage you, if you've given sporadically, to start regularly giving, schedule that out. Now, if you're a person like me who gives regularly, but you're feeling prompted tonight to be a cheerful giver and up that, just set up a brand new regular giving, and our finance lady will take care of all of that for you. I hope and I pray that we would have a community. Northwest Ohio would be a place where abortion is not something that is an option, not because we've outlawed it, though there's obviously discussion for that, but because it doesn't even cross people's mind because there is such a unique and robust support system around the men and women that are having to make that decision. Thank you so much. Pray about it. Become a cheerful giver tonight.